guys? This is your boy C Will back to you with another video, and I know you see it. Man, it's been a long time coming. I've been upgrading everything except for my motherboard. As you can see, we got the 11 with the 4090 in the back, but that motherboard that I'm currently using is the Gigabyte Elite 8X, and I had gotten that motherboard when I had gotten the 7950X. And as you see, this is in the box because I'm using the 7800X3D in my main system. But this is actually going to be going into the Elite AX, which is going to go into my streaming capture PC pretty soon. And why? Because, yeah, ASUS ROG Crosshair X670E Gene or Genie, however you want to say it. But yeah, this is like, I've been having my eye on this board for a long time. And yeah, I finally got one. Yeah, look at this beauty. I'm just we're gonna do a quick unboxing, talk a little bit about the board. I got this open box from Micro Center. Y'all know the open box king. Yeah, I got this open box. And so, yeah, let's just take a look at a couple of things. So I got this open box from Micro Center. The retail price on this board is $5.99, which is crazy expensive, but I got it for $4.50. It's 150 bucks off. You're probably saying, okay, well, what's wrong with the motherboard? The only issue that I ran into was this small nick that's right here, but that's about it. So let's start off. So first of all, this board is beautiful. This is a micro ATX board. So don't get that mixed up with the mini. It's not mini. It's in between the mini and the regular ATX. So micro ATX. What's great about this board is that it's all about overclocking, getting the best out of your chip. And so we got 110 amps on a VRMs, so delivering the power that we need. The 7800X3D doesn't, take up a whole lot of power, but the future chips will. I may end up upgrading to a 7950X3D. I don't know. It could be in the future, but I like my 7800X3D. We got two 8-pin connectors here, and technically with the 7800X3D, you only need one because each one of these delivers about 300 watts per 8-pin. And then we got the CPU socket right here. This board only comes with two DIMM slots, which is when it comes to overclocking your memory and the best performance and stuff like that, 2 DIMMs is preferred. And actually, I just read that. So originally when this motherboard was released, I think it accepted about 6,600 on the overclock for the memory. But now with the new BIOS update, it actually gets up to 8,000, which is crazy. And initially it said that it was only going to be compatible up to 64 gigabytes or 32 gigabytes per DIMM slot. But now that's changed to 96 gigabytes. Yeah, so you got those new memory kits that I think it's like 48 gigabytes a piece, which gives you 96. I think that's right. Yeah. So you have those. So I'm going to be looking into that in the future. We have and I'm just going to zoom in here. We have the Gen-Z.2 slot that's here, which is actually used for your M.2 storage. And this is what that looks like. So this supports 2 M.2 NVMe drives. One is for Gen 5 and the other one is for Gen 4. And we're actually going to be using this because I actually have 4 M.2 drives, but we're only going to be able to use 3. And of course, one goes right here, which is Gen 5. We have Gen 5 PCIe slot right here by 16. And then we have a 24-pin connector here. We have an additional 6-pin power connector, which I just found out that I need to order a 6-pin cable. And the reason why is because on this USB-C slot right here, it actually supports up to 60 watts for power. So you can actually be able to, power some of your new phones. You got the iPhone 15 that supports USB-C now, Android phones that support USB-C, and you can be able to fully fast charge your phone and other stuff. But you need the 6-pin power cable in addition to the 24-pin in order to do that. Up here across the top, You have the addressable RGB. We have, I think this is that's one of the CPU fan headers. We have another CPU fan header, and then the AIO header that's right here. We have the LED for the actual code, which I've been looking for one of these. You know, I've been playing around with memory and all different type of stuff. So I'm so glad to actually have one of these again. We got your power button, got the flex key, which is used for restart. And then we also have a system retry button that's right here, which is super important for like doing overclocks and stuff like that. And then there is I forgot which one this one is, but I definitely put that up on the screen when you go back and watch this. If we move down here, we have the latch button for the PCIe slot. So when you hit that, it opens up. We have another fan header that's down here. We have USB 3.0 header that's right here. We also have SATA ports. There's two right here, two right here. Another RGB addressable fan header right here. Then we have, man, we got all type of stuff here that's definitely used for like overclocking, being able to actually slow down the CPU speed. So you got different switches and stuff like that for here. You got your front panel connectors, USB, another fan header, like the white fan headers that you see. So there's one right here, and then there's another one right here, and then another right here. This is used for overclocking. You can actually be able to run the fan. The fans that you connect to here, they automatically run at 100% fan speed. Moving on here, we got the Supreme FX audio chip that's right here. We have another audio. Then we have actually, now this particular switch that you see right here is it's actually connected to the PCIe slot right here. So it allows you to be able to switch between Gen 3 and Gen 4, which is crazy because that's, you know, sometimes, I don't know if in the past, especially when you're using like the actual riser cables, which I am actually using there, I'm using a Gen 4 riser cable, but depending on the actual motherboard, sometimes when you just plug those in, if there was an issue where you was using a Gen 4 with a Gen 3, you wouldn't be able to get, you know, the actual picture to pop up on your monitor. So you can actually be able to swap in between those. So that's pretty cool. You also have some more headers down here that's actually used for LN2 overclocking. So yeah, this board is actually packed. It's definitely made for overclocking. If we go to the IO panel that's right here, so up at the top we have the BIOS button. That's a flashback BIOS, so which allows you to be able to update the BIOS without having to put in a CPU or RAM or anything. You just need to plug in the power, which we're actually going to be doing that because I don't know what BIOS is actually on this motherboard, but we definitely need to make sure, because we're going to be using the 7800X3D, we want to make sure we have the most updated BIOS. Y'all know the reason behind that. We don't want to have any chips go up in flames. And then we have the clear CMOS button. Obviously, that's great for, you know, you're doing, you know, RAM overclocking and stuff like that, or, you know, messing around on the BIOS, you need to reset stuff. You don't have to open up the casing to be able to do that. And then, of course, you have your two USB 2.0. One is specifically for the BIOS, which is you needed to use that particular port to do the BIOS flashback. Moving down here, this is one of the few boards that comes with USB 4, and it's USB-C. So if you see those two at the top right there, I think they are like 40 gigabytes per second. But yeah, yeah. This is like one of the few boards that actually comes with USB 4. And then we have the USB, I think the latest generation USB, I think these are 10 gigabit ports. And then we have another USB-C port, I think that was only 10 gigs as well. We have 2.5 gigabyte LAN, Wi-Fi 6E, fastest Wi-Fi available. And then look at the audio, 7.1 channel surround sound that you'll be able to plug up to. And yeah, I was really in between getting this board and then getting the actual, the ATX version size of the Crosshair Hero. And because I got such a good deal on this board, and because it comes with USB 4, pretty much all of the features of the Hero, that's why I got this one. So this is the features on this board is very comparable to the actual Extreme board, which is like $1,000. So yeah, I'm able to get this. I don't care because I run 2 computers. I don't care about the USB, the amount of this is going to be used for in my main rig for gaming, overclocking, testing, all the different type of stuff. And the Elite AX, you know, would be for the streaming and workstation, all the different type of stuff. I'm excited. So yeah, I need to go ahead and take this board out, you know, of the system. And yeah, I got a mid-tower case with a ROG board, but who cares? Let's get it cracking. Okay, so I got the other motherboard out. So this is my first time actually using a micro ATX board in a mid-tower case. So the original layout of the O11, the PC-O11 Dynamic is for ATX for the standoffs. So the 3 across the top can stay. This can stay. This one can stay. This standoff has to move down to this screw hole here. And then I'm going to move this one to this right here. So we only need to move 2 standoffs to support the micro ATX. So let's get it. Okay, so I got Gen board fitted. I went ahead and connected the 8-pin connectors, and I'm going to go ahead and connect the 24-pin. That's the only thing that I'm going to connect right now because we are going to update the BIOS before we connect anything else. Before we haven't installed a CPU yet, haven't installed a RAM yet, haven't connected anything else. I'm only going to connect just the 8 pins and the 24-pin connector so we can get power, do the actual BIOS update first, and then install everything else. But this is what it looks like. Micro ATX board and an ATX case. We are about to update the BIOS. You definitely have to make sure that you go to your motherboard's website. In this case, we're using ASUS. But you basically, you know, you have to download the correct BIOS, latest BIOS, put it on the thumb drive. You have to use a tool that renames the BIOS file so it reads correctly. And so make sure that you plug this into the USB port that's labeled BIOS. Oh, before we do that, hit the switch on the power. Not the actual power on the case, but the power on the power supply. So you do that first, and then up, that lit up green, and that's the clear CMOS, but you gotta hold down the BIOS button 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. And then it's blinking, it's blinking, and it should do its thing. It usually takes about 4 to 5 minutes. And as long as that doesn't stop blinking after 5 blinks, you should be good to go. Okay, so the BIOS actual light stopped blinking after 4 minutes. And so we should be good to go. So I am going to flip this switch back off. And let's go ahead and install the CPU, my NVMe drives, and yeah, we're gonna be good to go. Okay, we got the 7800X3D cleaned off, and that should pop off like that. Okay, we're about to install the first NVMe drive. And in this first slot, this is Gen 5 M.2. We have the 2 terabyte 980 Pro. Let's get it. And of course, we're installing the, you know, with these new ASUS boards, a lot of boards lately. They are making it where it's toolless. So here, slide that in, push that down. And you turn the little knob that's right there. So flip that switch. Boom. it's in. Okay, so we got screws on both sides. The bigger side that's right here actually holds the Gen 5 drive up. We don't have a Gen 5 drive right now, but I am gonna put my 2 terabyte Sabre drive on this side. And as you can see, that comes with the plastic. And if I hold this up, I don't know if you can see it. There it is. It actually says Gen 5 right there as well. So we take this Sabre and rock it. So it looks like we need a standoff. So we put this in a 2280 spot. That's how long the actual standard NVMe drives are. Boom. It works out like that. That goes on like this. And all the drives that I'm using are Gen.4 drives. Not 2 terabyte 980 Pro, 2 terabyte Sabre and Rocket 4 Plus, and a 1 terabyte, which is this one. I think we already had one here, and a 1 terabyte gigabyte Ors. And this one actually says Gen.4 on this side. So I think this is going to be the only drive that I will actually end up upgrading to a Gen.5, and it's going to be a 4 terabyte. And that's because on this particular motherboard, I only have 3 NVMe slots. So definitely I'm going to, if I upgrade to a 4 terabyte, that'll give me that'll give me 8 terabytes of storage, and I'll be good. And this is going to actually go in this slot here. So we are going to kick this back, kick this one back. It's snapped in right there. So we got it on this. Yep, there it is. Got to give it a little force, but as long as it snaps in, it's good. That's real close. They ain't pull no punches. How close the actual RAM is to the Gen-2 drive. Okay, we got the RAM in. X marks the spot. We got the spacers in. Time to put the cooler on, and I gotta reroute some of these cables, and then we're gonna crank this bad boy back up so we can see what she look like. We got the moment of truth. Flip the switch. Okay, we got a little bit of power. I rerouted my AIL, so I'm gonna flip that within the software. But as long as we get posts, that's all I care about. Some new motherboard is probably gonna go through some RAM training. Yep. Let's see. It's going. 68, 70. 97, 9C, 64. Man, it feels so good to have LED codes again. Let's see. Zero, 15. Yep, it's going through training. 66, 70. 64. AL is good. I'm doing this live so you can see how long it takes. When you install a new motherboard or CPU or doing your build for the first time and you got the RAM, it's gonna Yep, this is normal. It's gonna recycle. It's gonna cut back on. Yep. So that's a good thing. Just need to get into the BIOS. Just need to post. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, Ski. Yes, sir. Aha, BIOS is updating. Cypress PDF firmware did not shut down. Okay. Yes, sir. Oh my God. This is good. Whew. Now, let me just wait for this to get done. Get inside the BIOS. See, I know I updated the BIOS with the BIOS flashback, the Q flash, whatever you want to call it. But I wanted to make sure I did that. Oh, I need to hit delete. Do I need to hit delete? BIOS is updating Thunderbolt NVMe firmware. Do not shut down. Okay. So I'm gonna let this do its thing then. After I get this up and running this week, boom, we got a RX 7800X3D, brand new in the box. Yes, sir. Got that from Micro Center too. But yeah, we're gonna be testing this week. All right, so it's saying that the image write is finished. And pass authentication. Okay, new CPU installed. FTNV corrupted or structure change. Press Y to reset FPTM. Yep. You want to press Y. Boom. Okay, we got the post. 7800X3D. DDR5. Let's see. Is it reading everything? Yep, it's reading everything. All the storage drives, so press enter. To recover BIOS setting. Cool. Boy, I haven't seen the ASUS BIOS in so long. Oh, yes, Sirski. All right, so we are inside the BIOS. And the only thing that I am going to set, I go here, Expo 1. Yeah, here we go. I actually just want to go in here and set, I do want to set my Infinity Fabric 2000 U clock division mode. I want U clock to equal M clock. So we got the Expo settings, U clock. Okay, this is the simple stuff, but I definitely got to play around with the curved optimizer, you know, that type of stuff. All right, let's see if we can boot into Windows. You know, normally I would do a fresh install, but I did not because it's just a lot. So I'm gonna see how it reacts. I'm gonna go ahead and install all of the ASUS drivers and all that different type of stuff. And then I come back. Okay, after multiple attempts of trying to, you know, we posted, but I couldn't get into Windows, and I was getting a D6 error on the motherboard. Thank God for LE for the Q codes. But man, the D6 error had something to do with the display. I switched out DisplayPort cables, reconnected, and then I finally tried one of my high bandwidth HDMI cables, cleared the CMOS, and that worked. I don't know. Anyways, we up and running. It's like super late right now, and I'm about to go to bed. Yo, all right, so it's been a couple of days. Of course, you know, we got everything set up. I told you I was gonna go back and correct the AIO on the screen. Got a little different screen up right now showing the GPU and CPU temps. So a couple of things. As you can hear, you know, I'm recording inside the case, you can't hear the fans. Early on, the actual, so I don't know if you remember me saying at the beginning of the video, where the white fan headers, and you can't really see them because the graphics card is in the way, but the white fan headers on this motherboard are all set to go at 100% fan speed. And that's because this board is made for overclocking, like LN2 and all that different type of stuff. So you can't control, even though it says that those headers are PWM, you can't control the actual fan speed or anything on. So let me tell you what I had to do for the AIO. So across the top, there's a couple of different fan headers. So over to the left is a CPU fan header. Then there's a CPU optional fan header. Then there's an AIO fan header. So I plugged the Kraken Z73 into the AIO fan header, and then they're like these 3 fans on the side and 3 fans at the bottom, all a part of one controller. And so that cable, which is this clear cable here, I have that plugged into the CPU fan header. And I had to do it that way because the CPU fan header is the only fan header on here that you can actually control with PWM. So after doing some, faffling, so I was actually able to set up the actual, the control of the fans inside the BIOS. And so if we go over here to monitor, they go down to Q fan configuration. And as you can see up under the CPU fan, Q fan control, it's on auto detect. I put it on standard for the profile, the source, which is CPU, and I set the actual fan speed low limit. It's like 200 RPM. And then I actually went to, I think it's F7. Yep. On F7, if you click on the actual Q fan control, then you could come in here and you can actually play around. And this is the fan curve. So up under standard, the fan curve is here. So as the temperature goes up, the fan speed goes up. So at 50%, which is here, it looks like we're halfway between 30 and 70 degrees. So it's going to get up to 50% on the actual fan speed, which is kind of like halfway in between that. And then it continues to go up. So maybe around about 60 degrees, it gets up to maybe about 75%. And then once it hits about 70 degrees, it's at full speed. And so, yeah, that's the fan curve that I have set up here in the BIOS. You can actually use Armory Crate and use expert fan control if you want to control the actual fan speed and stuff like that within Windows, but I didn't want to download Armory Crate. That's a we can talk about that later. But anyways, but that's how I have it set up here inside the BIOS. So if I go back and then we're going to go back to advanced settings, it's a couple of things I want to take a look at here. Oh, well, before I do that, just one more thing. So there is I also talked about a lot of the features that's on this board, which right next to the 24-pin connector, there's a 6-pin. I don't know if you can see it right there. There's a 6-pin power connector. The cable that you need for that is actually one of the 8-pin PCIe connectors, which I am actually going to connect a little bit later. But one of the ends on here, you can actually split. I think, is it this end? No, maybe it's the other end. But this actually splits off. So part of the 8-pin changes to a 6-pin, and you can actually plug that into the board, put the other part into the power supply. Then that allows you to be able to get that USB front connector at 60 watts power. And the reason why you will want to probably use that is, charge your phone, fast charging, that type of stuff. Otherwise, it will just be limited to 27 watts for power. So just want to make sure that I talked about that. And yeah, now back over to the BIOS settings. So I just want to go over this real quick. I want to show you, I got pretty much most of my main settings dialed in, and I just want to show you how I got that set up. Okay, so if we go over here to the extreme tweaker, talks about the overclocking presets, but the AI tuner, I had that set to auto. The RAM that I have in here is G-Skill 6000 megahertz CL30. I have it overclocked to 6400 megahertz. I have the F clock frequency at 2133 megahertz. And if we go down here to the DRAM timing, I have manual timers in. So if we go here, and I just let you see that, here are the settings. I copied these settings from Billzoid, and I'll put the link in the description below. I pretty much did one-for-one copy his settings. He actually used the ASUS BIOS, so it made it real easy. But we dialed in the settings for the RAM, and it worked 100%. The only thing that he didn't do, he left his RAM at 6,000 speed. I overclocked my 6400. But all of these timings are his timings, and I just copied them all the way. Didn't change anything. I copied his timings, and it worked all the way down. Disabled power down. Made sure that U clock equals M clock, and didn't change anything else. If we go back, we go down here. If you go down, all the way down, it'll show you the voltages. So manually set this to 1.25, set the VDD IO to 1.35, and set the VDD voltage to 1.35 and the DRAM VDD Q voltage to 1.35. Didn't touch anything else. We're gonna go over here to advanced mode and go all the way down to, first we want to stop here. The NB configuration, I left the integrated graphics mode on auto. So just so you know that. And then we go down here to where it says AMD overclocking. Hit accept. And we go here to Precision Boost Overdrive. Now, yeah, you already know what I'm about to show you. Curve optimize on the 7800X3D. Set the PBO to advanced. PBO limits is on motherboard. Manual on the scaler, made it 10X, which is the max. And then went down here to the platform thermal throttle settings. Put it on manual. This is actually, it maxes out at 89 degrees anyway, but I set it at 89 for PBO purposes. That way it doesn't try to throttle the temp before that, because it's possible. You know, that's based off algorithm and stuff like that. And then we go to curve optimizer, and I have mine set on all cores, negative, and then negative 30. I initially had it on negative 25 with no issues. Then I tried out negative 30, and it's been working good so far. Let's see, back out. Back out here again, and then let's see, we go over here to tool, and you can go to ASUS user profile, and I actually saved this up on the profile 1, and yeah, I saved this profile, so even if you hit clear CMOS, you can still load the profile, you know, after you get done tweaking everything. But that's my BIOS settings. And so, yeah, so far so good. I absolutely love this motherboard. It's everything I thought it was going to be, and then some. And it's been a wonder to work with, especially with the QR code and the BIOS, the clear CMOS button that's on the back of the motherboard. I showed you that earlier. Works wonders. I don't have to open back up the case or anything. I talked earlier, there's a button, and it's the second one that's here, that allows you to be able to, like, if something happened, allows you to be able to kind of reset and go into safe mode for the BIOS. I actually used that. Oh, and I forgot the major thing. When you're swapping motherboards, please, this is very detrimental. Please make sure, just go ahead and just do a clean reinstall of Windows. Let me tell you, I ran into so many issues after I went to sleep that night early on in the video. I ran into so many different problems with the system. BSOD and blue screen of death, drivers uninstalling themselves, just multiple issues. I couldn't overclock anything or anything. Once I did clean reinstall of Windows, all that stuff went away, and I've been loving it ever since. And just so you know, I know early on in the video, it's been a couple of days, but early on in the video, Not upgraded, but I got another graphics card because I definitely want to test out. This is my first AMD graphics card. Now, I had a gigabyte card, but I decided to, I looked on Microsoft and saw that they had this Sci-Fi Nitro Plus, which is probably the best 7800 XT graphics card that you could get, this particular model, and that's across the board, whether it's a 7900 XT or XTX, the Sci-Fi Nitro Plus, it's like the best of the best. And man, this is going to be the next video, so definitely look out for that. And let me know what you think down in the comments below about the installation and the setup of this motherboard. It's absolutely amazing if you could be able to get a deal on it. If you want to pick this up, there will be links down in the description below to be able to help the channel out. And I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.